Hi guys, welcome to Brandix Reviews. Today's video is a mailbag request and pertains to the X-Men movie franchise. Quite interesting really. This one was actually sent in November last year and I just never got around to answering it. It's actually quite relevant now because I have an update, so, well, compared to what I had in November anyway. So the question is from Paul Cage and he's asking, I've heard whispers that the X-Men franchise may reboot. With the recent success of Deadpool and the mess that the current timeline is in, do you think that it is a good idea? Should they give it up to Marvel? Should they make it more R-rated to incorporate Deadpool? Please speculate on rumours or that you've heard or researched. So basically, good question really. I mean, to be honest, I don't think they're going to go more R-rated. I mean, they're going to keep Deadpool R-rated because obviously that's kind of where that character is at. But I don't think that it being R-rated is in any way kind of magical key to success, because we've seen R-rated superhero movies before fail. So yeah, I don't think that's really all that relevant in terms of the success. But what movies do we have coming up? Because this is something that I couldn't have answered back in November when you sent this question in. Let's have a look. This is basically the lineup next year. We've got 3 movies out in the X-Men movie franchise. So we've got Josh Boone was hired to direct a film adaptation of the New Mutants comic series, acting as a spin-off to the X-Men films. So basically, it's going to involve some facility where some mutants are being held against their will. That's all it kind of says here. It seems like it could potentially be a follow-on from the Logan film that came out in February, if you watched that, so who knows, but that's the first film next year. So the next film is Deadpool 2, which comes out in June 2018. And there's plenty of information coming out about that at the moment. This here is kind of talking about the people that are making the movie, but it's looking good, and from what I understand, it's going to be more of the same as well. In a good way, I don't mean that in a bad way necessarily, but to answer your question about it being R-rated, I'm sure that's going to be kept. I mean, I'm absolutely positive that Deadpool will be that way, because that does seem to be a winning formula for Deadpool specifically, but not necessarily for the X-Men franchise. The third film out next year is in November next year, and that is X-Men Dark Phoenix. And basically, if you've seen XMen Apocalypse, the character moments that you had with Jean Grey and Nightcrawler and Cyclops, and also Jubilee as well. From what I understand, it's based on their characters, and obviously it's to do with Jean Grey becoming the Dark Phoenix. I understand that it's going to be fairly grounded like we saw with the Phoenix character in X-Men 3, and it's not going to be a big cosmic thing, which again, a lot of people are kind of slating it for that already. See how it goes. I mean, to be honest, anything can work as long as it's done right. I don't think there's a magical formula for this. If there was, everybody would be using it, but that's not the case. So, for example, being R-rated is not a magical formula for superhero movies. If it was, they would all be doing it. In fact, it's a bit of a risk, to be honest, because you don't get as many bums in seats when you restrict your viewing audience by age category. So, see how it goes anyway. But that's all I really wanted to say. That's all I really can say, to be honest. I mean, I could speculate more, but I think we're best playing with the facts. Let's just wait and see till some trailers come out. That's basically my attitude on this. I mean, I left this question quite a while, and obviously now I've got a bit more specific information than I did back then, but I still don't really know exactly what the vibe of these movies are going to be, and whether or not they're any good. I mean, even from a trailer you can't tell a lot of the time, but we shall see. I personally didn't think XMen Apocalypse was as good as the previous films in the franchise with First Class and then Days of Future Past. I thought those were excellent films. We're kind of ushering in a golden age for the X-Men movie franchise, but unfortunately Apocalypse was a bit of a letdown. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. We've got Deadpool, that's been very good, so we'll see beyond that. And obviously Logan this year I thought was really good as well. So I'll leave it there, because I'll probably just end up rambling a bit more. But I hope that kind of answered your question anyway. It's fairly relevant. So I'll just leave it there and say, if you've got any more questions, send them into Brandix Reviews. You can follow us on social media. You can communicate with us that way. For now, I'll just leave it there and say thank you very much for watching. And thanks, Paul, for the mailbag submission.